morning. Today we continue our devotional series out of the Book of Galatians. Yesterday I talked a little bit about the central theme of the book, which is the gospel. We opened by looking at religion, which I defined as believe in following the rules and rituals that will make us good, believe and behave. If you do this, you're better than others and we get qualified for God's love. And look, we're all religious, and there are some upsides to being religious, but religion is a failed project. We cannot reach up to God. We cannot save ourselves. This is one of the starting assumptions of what Paul is writing about. So the letter to the Galatians is a very profoundly anti-religious letter. So last week we looked a little bit at Galatians in general, and I said that, it's this short letter written by Paul to churches he founded in the Roman province of Galatia. And that the letter has an edge to it because he thinks the people have been led astray. He thinks they're going down the wrong path. He thinks they're giving up the gospel and moving towards religion. Instead of understanding salvation to be a free gift, they are thinking of it as something that they need to earn. Or instead of understanding the equation to be faith equals salvation and works, they think the equation is faith plus works equals salvation. So now, to be clear, their particular set of issues about works were very first century and different from what any of us would be likely to fall into today. It was all about dress codes and circumcision and dietary laws and a number of rules that they added onto things. So in conservative churches today, we tend to add a certain kinds of rules. Don't drink or don't smoke or don't whatever. In more liberal churches, the rules are you believe and then you have faith, but then you also have to have a certain stance on various social or political issues. And they also generally, both kinds of churches, get the order wrong, as opposed to it being justified and then sanctified, as opposed to faith leading to good works. It's sanctification, good works leading to justification. So anyway, all that aside, let me read the first few meaty verses here. So we had the introduction we looked at last week in chapter 1. Now, beginning with verse 6 in chapter 1, Paul says, I'm astonished that you are so quickly deserting the one who called you to live in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel, which is really no gospel at all. So the Judaizers had argued that they were just making a slight change to what Paul had said. Paul is saying, no, this is no gospel at all. You're getting it fundamentally wrong. So he then goes on, evidently some people are throwing you into confusion and are trying to pervert the gospel of Christ. The word in the Greek here, pervert, means you're going in exactly the wrong direction. You've reversed the order. And then, but even if we or an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one we preach to you, let them be under God's curse. As we have already said, so now I say again, if anybody is preaching to you a gospel other than what you accepted, let them be under curse. So the word gospel appears like 5 times in the first few verses. And again, it's a very specific thing. So the Greek word evangelion means news, good news. So news, though, it's not something that you can intuit. It's not something you can reason your way toward. It has to be announced. It's good news. So it's very helpful encouragement or helpful news. It's not just encouragement or advice, but it's good and it's something very specific. So the gospel is not whatever we want it to be. Today, there is a belief that if you believe in anything sincerely enough, that's good. And look, I love the fact that we live in a country in which there is freedom of belief, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. That's a good thing. But we have to understand theologically that whatever we believe, if we believe it strongly enough, is true. That's just not the case. So when it comes to our faith, when it comes to our belief, it's the object in which we invest it that matters. So strong faith in a weak object is not very good, right? I mean, you could have all the faith in the world that this bridge is going to support you as you cross it. Your faith doesn't change the fact that if the bridge is not any good, your faith isn't going to change that. What we don't need strong faith in a weak object. What we need is even just weak faith in a strong object. Now, ideally, you have strong faith in a strong object, but with faith, it's not the sincerity or intensity that gets elevated is important. It is the object in which we invest it, and we need to invest our faith in Jesus. So he is the way and the truth and the life. Have a good day.